After last night's loss to the New York Yankees, the Blue Jays have some serious decisions on what they're going to do about Jordan Romano. But first, let's cover some Blue Jays roster moves that happened yesterday and how it's going to impact the team moving forward. The Blue Jays reinstated Brandon Belt from the 10-day IL and was active last night and in Toronto's lineup. And as well, you saw that Jay Jackson got called up from AAA Buffalo, which I know a lot of fans are super happy about. Now, there is one thing to note about Brandon Belt. I mean, he's only played 4 games in September, so it's going to take Brandon Belt a lot of time to get readjusted to the fastballs in the major leagues. We've seen Brandon Belt come off the IL before and just not look like himself, like he can catch up to those heaters like we saw back in early April. Because we're going to need him to catch up those fastballs come next week, hopefully for a wild card series. And as for Jay Jackson, thank God this guy's back, man. He's been one of the low-key, underrated Blue Jay bullpen arms this season. A whip of under 1, 0.938 to be exact. This guy's been reliable for John Schneider's pen basically the entire year. And I know we could play him in some pretty high leverage situations. Now, speaking of high leverage situations, we have to talk about Jordan Romano. Jordan Romano has now given up 2 earned runs on back-to-back outings, which doesn't look good for the Blue Jays closer considering we are entering into a wildcard series potentially next week. Now, there is one thing that we have to point out about Jordan Romano is that he recently suffered a fingernail crack back in Tampa Bay, which seemed to be the reason why he had command issues and was giving up big hits against the Rays and why he blew that save back in the Trop. However, before last night's game, John Schneider said that Jordan Romano was good to go as per usual. I mean, it didn't seem like he was fully back. The 2 hits he gave up, which was the single and the home run, which led to the 2 runs, were middle-ish fastballs. Now, I'm not saying that's because of the fingernail issue, but it is a little bit concerning that your closer is leaving these fastballs very hittable and they're getting hit by the New York Yankees. And I've been seeing a lot of comments saying it's time to move on from Jordan Romano and that maybe we should start considering Jordan Hicks as a potential closing option come October.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Now, I do think there's a bit of recency bias here as Jordan Hicks has been one of the best bullpen arms in September. I don't remember the last time this dude gave up an earned run for the Blue Jays, whereas Jordan Romano is coming off 2 back-to-back pretty bad outings. But if you look at the season-long numbers, Jordan Romano has had a better season than Jordan Hicks. However, if you are going to have maybe a lingering fingernail issue or Jordan Romano isn't looking like he's got the command of old, that's going to come down to Pete Walker's assessment going into the postseason to see maybe if you drop him down from that closing position and promote Jordan Hicks. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys, it's hard to imagine that John Schneider and Pete Walker do this considering they've been relying on Jordan Romano all season long, and at the end of the day, he only has 4 blown saves. And yes, while Jordan Romano does have 7 losses, you also got to compare it to Jordan Hicks where he has 8 losses. So do you ride with the hot hand or do you stick with your closer that you've been sticking with all season long? Personally, I do think that there needs to be an assessment by Pete Walker to see if Jordan Romano's command is there for the postseason. And if it is, you still got to rely with Jordan Romano, guys. We can't let the recency bias let us forget that Jordan Romano has been a good bullpen arm this season. But also, we do need the Blue Jays to score more than 0 runs, so there's that. And speaking of the Blue Jays needing to score more than 0 runs, let's see if the Blue Jays can do that tonight, folks, as we're definitely going to start having to win some of these last final games. Taking a look at the wildcard standing, folks, the Blue Jays are still in the second wildcard spot, 1.5 games above the Houston Astros and 2 games above the Seattle Mariners, who did take 1 win off of those Houston Astros last night. Now, that's not the worst case scenario. I know that we wanted the Seattle Mariners to beat the Houston Astros, but our playoff odds didn't change that much. Blue Jays are still sitting at a 94.8% chance to make playoffs, and the Blue Jays magic number is still 3 with 5 games remaining. And with Garrett Cole on the mound tonight for the New York Yankees and the ever so dangerous Tampa Bay Rays coming up this weekend, the Blue Jays got to get to work tonight, folks. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, guys, what do you think about this whole Romano stuff? And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, go Jays go.